Hey YouTube world, harvest is plenty. Hope all is well. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. So listen, I don't hear many people talking about this, but the Southern California Earthquake Research Center said there's an 80 to 90% chance that a major earthquake will strike the Southern California region before the end of 2024. Wow. I don't hear many people talking about this, but we're going to get into it today. Also, don't forget to hit and smash that like button for me. All right, let's get to it.
Our breaking news, a 3.6 earthquake near Newport Beach. And joining us now on the phone, Robert DeGroot with the U.S. Geological Survey. Thank you so much for being with us. What do we make of this latest quake?
So, yes, this was a magnitude 3.6 earthquake about a mile northeast of Newport Beach. And we know that it was felt pretty widely in a very densely populated region, Costa Mesa, Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach. So we're looking into it now. We do know that the Shake Alert Earthquake Early Warning System was activated for this earthquake. The system estimated the event at over magnitude 4 initially, and then the numbers came down. But one thing that we want folks to know is that we want everybody to be safe. We hope they took a protective action if they felt shaking, and we just want to make sure that everyone's okay.
Robert, you know, this follows a series of minor earthquakes that we've had in the last few days. I mean, what should people know? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are a little concerned, wondering, is this a sign that the big one is coming?
Yes, and we know that earthquakes can be unsettling for folks. We've had a couple events this last week, one event on Sunday near South Pasadena, and these magnitude 4, magnitude 3 events are fairly frequent in Southern California. We have 20 to 30 earthquakes a day in the region, and they just happen to be occurring in areas where there are a lot of people, so people feel them.
And it seems like they're a little bit larger. They're not the 2.0s. We're seeing the 3 and more, and it really gets people's attention.
Yeah, and the magnitude 3 earthquakes are very frequent. I mean, well, the magnitude 2s, people usually don't feel them, and they just sort of go unnoticed. But when these events happen in regions where there are a lot of people, like in Orange County or in the San Gabriel Valley, people take notice. And I was in Pasadena at the USGS office on Sunday, and I felt that earthquake, and I was wondering what was going to happen as well. So.
All right. Robert, again, thank you very much for your time today. And again, it's a good reminder to be prepared. If you don't have, that kit ready to go, let's start working on it. Water, food, all of those items that we all need.
Stay safe. And if you haven't set up your phone to receive Shake Alert Power Alerts, visit usgs.gov and find out more about how to get alerts.
Always a good idea. Thank you so much for your time.
Very same day that we tracked a 2.6 quake near Newport Beach. Some good news on early warning technology. NBC4's Alex Rozier live in Studio City with more on an update set to roll out before the shaking starts. Alex.
And Michael, it's something that is on the minds of many here in Southern California. A question of when will the big one hit? Well, if it does, this new technology, the USGS hopes, will give you a few seconds notice to take cover.
We detect the earthquake the moment that it reaches the surface.
Robert DeGroot is with the USGS Shake Alert Operations Team that works to detect earthquakes as soon as they hit Southern California.
Seismic stations tell us how fast the ground is moving, and these other stations tell us how far it's moving. And by looking at both of them together, we can get a better sense of how much those big earthquakes are going to impact a region. So we have seismometers that pick up the ground motion. We move that information to a processing center in a matter of a fraction of a second. We process it, and then we start pushing out the information so alerts can be delivered within seconds to people's phones.
How much advance notice could people have?
One of the factors that sort of determines when people get an alert on their phone is how far they're away from the epicenter of the earthquake. Seconds is generally how long people will get before they feel that strongest shaking. And really, that's all it takes for people to really take that protective action, to drop cover and hold on to be safe.
DeGroot said his team is also working with emergency responders and transportation teams, so life-saving automated steps can be taken too, as soon as big quakes hit.
We're continuing to expand automated actions like slowing down trains, opening firehouse doors, So we're working with LA Metro and with Cedars-Sinai and with other Metrolink as well to take those automated actions to slow down those trains without people being involved a fraction of a second to shut down that generator, open fire that firehouse door is going to be valuable, not just during the earthquake itself, but also after the earthquake is over.
Amazing technology that is now up there, and it's up and down the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, and California. They say that it will serve about 50 million permanent residents and visitors too. Reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
So yeah, 2024 is shaping up to be a very interesting year. As I said before previously, that 2024 is the year of the dragon. And we know from the book of Revelations that the dragon is the serpent. And I said that 2024 was going to be the year of transformation, the year of exposure, the year of unraveling and revealing. So things are shaping up pretty quick. And as I said in my previous video, between now and December 31st, 2024, a lot of things must happen in order for them to stay on pace with their new world order agenda. So let's get through some of these headlines real quick. So this is from the LA Times. It says faster alerts for California megaquakes. Early warning system gets major upgrades. And that's what we just saw in the news. It's the shake alert system, not just for California, but for the state of Oregon and the state of Washington as well. Let's check out this headline. It says here, California has 7 earthquakes in 8.5 hours. And these are mini quakes. As the news report said, these are, 2.0, 3.0, 3.9. Just interesting that this is going on in California. And maybe some of the people are feeling it. Here's another one that I really want to, kind of touch bases on. And this is an article that was written in 2005. It's dated September 13th, 2005. And it says, big one predicted to hit California in 2024. Now, how could they know that way back in 2025? It says, and I'll read a little bit. It says, after the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, slow response to Hurricane Katrina, some Southern California residents have questioned whether the government can come to their aid in the event of the big one. And we know FEMA's response was very horrible for Hurricane Katrina. It goes on to talk about the plates shifting, and then it says this. Southern California Earthquake Center researchers said there is an 80 to 90% chance an earthquake of a magnitude 7.0 or greater will strike or will hit Southern California before 2024. And that's so interesting that they could predict that way back in 2005, that the big one will hit California in 2024. That's so interesting. But here's something that's also interesting. And I covered this on my old channel. It said U.S. must prep for cyber attack that coincides with a natural disaster, the industry council says. It says a presidential advisory council has warned that a catastrophic months-long power outage on top of a cyber attack represents a profound threat that requires a new national focus. And it was a report that was put out in 2018, and the report was saying that in the event of a major national disaster, that a cyber attack could come on the heels of that, and it would knock power out for a few months, not a few weeks, a few months. Are people prepared for that? Are ready for that? No. Just think about that. If you are enemy nation and you're trying to strike at America, what's the best way to do it? Do it while they already, distracted with something else. And so they've been training for this for quite some time. Here's another headline. Natural disasters can set the stage for cyber attacks. And this is in October of 2021. And let's take a look at this article. It says the following here. It says, an earthquake strikes a city in Indiana, causing chaos and destruction, sending emergency managers and first responders scrambling. Then the water system goes down, and everyone figures it's because of a natural disaster. But it isn't. It's a ransomware attack by cyber criminals who are taking advantage of the disruption to infiltrate the water system's network. It goes on to say the incident isn't real, but it's a scenario played out as part of a 3-day full-scale cybersecurity drill in Indiana in August, attended by more than 500 people, including Indiana National Guard members, first responders, healthcare providers, state and local and federal officials. And they've been practicing for this, that a cyber attack to hit during a natural disaster. In this particular drill, they happen to use an earthquake. Here's one more headline. U.S. Army combines fake hacks, national disaster simulation to test municipal responses. And it says what happens when cyber attack and natural disasters hit ports all at once. And this is in the East Coast. It said there was a virtual exercise which feigned malware and ransomware attacks against targets in Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia, over the last several weeks. It's aimed at testing participants' ability to defend against digital threats while simultaneously facing an array of emergency scenarios in the physical realm. And it goes on to say there's a fictitious cargo ship accident, and while they're dealing with that, the 911 systems go down, the water systems go down, and the power goes out. And it tests what the first responders will do during that situation and how citizens are prepared to respond to that. So guys, and again, they're talking about a months-long power outage. If you remember in 2018 as well, the Department of Homeland Security put out a briefing, and they said in this briefing that residents should have between 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months of food, water, supplies, and other stuff on hand in the event of a catastrophic cyber attack. This is Department of Homeland Security. They put this out in 2018. I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time, so I emailed that briefing to all of my friends, my co-workers and family members. I said, hey, look at this. Department of Homeland Security said, get ready. Now, did people heed that warning? No, because that was 6 years ago. And nothing has never happened since then. So people was like, oh, it didn't happen then, and it's been 6 years, so nothing is going to happen in the future as well. Yet the Department of Homeland Security wouldn't put out that warning if they didn't have any type of intel or if someone somewhere wasn't planning something. So guys, again, please heed the warnings, take it seriously, get prepared. I think you should have more than 14 days of food, even though they said they moved up the national average from 3 days to I think 14 days, right? You should have enough food and water on hand to survive if something catastrophic happens. I mean, think about it. Just think if the big one hits California, right? And then tornadoes started hitting across the Midwest. At the same time, the power grid goes down. And then we have all these people in America that came across the border. What if they launched their attacks at that particular time when first responders are busy doing something else? It's going to be chaos. Martial law will be declared at that point. But a lot of people will die. So it's best that you guys get prepared. Cover yourself in the blood of Jesus. Stay prayed up. As I said before, their plans are event sequence driven. And so a lot of things must happen between now and the end of 2024. If it doesn't happen, I'm very thankful and grateful that the good Lord has spared us and has given us more time and has given us grace. So I'm praying that nothing happens. But if it does, I hope that you're ready. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Stay tuned for more videos to come. I love you guys. God bless to you and your family.
A chilling discovery off the West Coast has experts sounding the alarm. A megaquake, more powerful than anything we've seen, could strike at any moment, triggering devastation, tsunamis, and claiming countless lives. But there's hope. Tonight we'll reveal a shocking truth about the Cascadia subduction zone and what you can do to protect yourself and your loved ones. Don't miss my final thought on how to prepare for the unthinkable. The Cascadia subduction zone, a 600-mile fault line stretching from southern Canada to northern California, has long been a source of concern for experts. But now, a groundbreaking study has revealed that this underwater threat is far more dangerous than previously believed. Using cutting-edge underwater mapping techniques, scientists have discovered that the Cascadia subduction zone is not one continuous strip, as once thought, but rather split into 4 distinct segments. This alarming finding means that the tectonic plates can slide under each other, creating immense pressure and potentially triggering a catastrophic 9.0 magnitude earthquake. The consequences of such a megaquake would be nothing short of devastating. Tsunamis reaching heights of 100 feet or more could slam into the coast, causing unimaginable damage and loss of life. In fact, experts warn that over 500,000 buildings could be destroyed, and the death toll could be staggering. We've seen the horrifying impact of a 9.0 earthquake before. In 2011, a similar event struck Japan, triggering a massive tsunami that claimed nearly 20,000 lives. The images of destruction were unfathomable, and now scientists fear that the West Coast could be next. At a recent House Science, Space, and Technology Committee hearing, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici pressed the Honorable Dr. Rick Spinrad on the importance of accurate tsunami warnings and preparedness.
I've heard from many of the coastal communities, and again, you know, as an Oregonian, that we have the Cascadia subduction zone and risk of tsunami. I've spoken with them about the NOAA Tsunami Hazard Mitigation Program. Then that's used to raise awareness, to prepare towns for disaster. Coastal Oregon towns like Bay City, Seaside, they rely on those high-quality models and timely alerts, and the residents know that the accuracy of NOAA's tsunami systems is really a matter of life and death. So NOAA's budget proposes to eliminate funding for the Tsunami Hazard Mitigation Program and reallocate that funding to improve tsunami detection technology. So similar to the IUS funds, how can NOAA work to maintain tsunami mapping, research, and education services and modernize its equipment without compromising one priority for the other?
Yeah, thank you for that question, and I share your concern with respect to tsunami response, especially for those kinds of tsunamis that the Cascadia 9.0 represents, where the ability to respond quickly is important. What we have chosen to do, what we will do with the tsunami program, is provide a common framework, and that will enhance the ability of communities to respond. Right now, our Alaska-based and Hawaii-based tsunami offices, tsunami centers, warning centers, operate with different systems, which means the warning we get to people is far from optimal. So by if you will, providing the common framework, the common operational picture, the residents of the coastal communities in Oregon will get a better predictive product than they had before. That way, we're going to ensure continuity of operations.
Dr. Spinrad acknowledged the dire need for a common framework to enhance the ability of communities to respond quickly and effectively to a Cascadia megaquake. But the reality is neither Oregon nor Washington State is sufficiently prepared for a disaster of this magnitude. The current emergency response models are based on outdated low-quality data from the 1980s. It's a frightening prospect, considering that a rupture along the Cascadia subduction zone could last up to 5 minutes and unleash untold devastation. The aftermath of such an event would be nothing short of catastrophic. Disease, contaminated water, and hazardous spills could claim even more lives in the weeks and months following the quake. It's a grim reminder of the urgent need for preparedness and early warning systems.